This is Matrix Lord 212, and I was just overlooking my fourth book, Destiny's Calling, and I was rereading it, and you know what? I just got this crazy idea for finishing off Tomorrow's Song 3, which is going to be now part of the Star Separation saga again. So this is gonna screw up all my plans now, and it's gonna cost me money too. Oh my god. But you know what, it will be worth it. I wasn't planning on doing this actually, but you know, like I said, inspiration comes many different times, and you gotta be ready for it, and when it does hit, you know, you gotta go with the flow, and we're gonna have a new book born. So, well, Promised Dream is on its way out, coming out soon. And then I was gonna go ahead with Book 11 was supposed to be Edge of Reason. Now, uh, I want to kind of have Tomorrow's Song 3 right after Promised Dream. So, oy vey, I'm gonna have to make a serious decision here because, um, man, I tell you. You know what? Change is a good thing sometimes because, you know, when I do usually change something, it's for the best. And, like I said, I usually jump back and forth in time with the books. Some books take place in 2000, some books take place in 2011, 10, whatever. And it's always out of order. But since basically book 9 and 10 are like basically in order, and I kind of wanted to have book 11 in order. So, I don't know. I'm going to have to brew some Starbucks on the Keurig and figure this out and write some more tonight. And we'll see what happens. But I got to get my keister on the sci-fi novel as well, Future Factor, because I'm spending way too much time with the Star Separation series. I mean, if you really think about it, Book 6 came out in February. Book 7 came out in April. Book 8 came out in May. Book 9 came out in September, and Book 10 is coming out in October. So Book 11 is probably going to come out before Christmas. So, I mean, God, it's that's 6 books published in 1 year. Actually, not even a year because, you know, how many books will I put out from February to February? So, boy. But you know what? I love writing books. It gives me a thrill. It gives me joy that, you know, the whole book process, if you never published a book before, self-publishing, it really is, how can I describe it? It's like, it's, it's, it's a thrill. It's a high. It's like you get to submit your work that you worked your butt off for, and you get to see the process that it takes to get this book made. And the longest process really is the cover process, because if you want that type of package, the cover takes every couple of weeks. So it could delay the whole entire book for months. So that's why I try to have them do the cover while they're doing the editing process. Now, I edit my own book, and what happened is I don't want them changing the words. So they try to spell check stuff for me and grammar and stuff, and they'll send it to me. And if it's something that I don't want them to change the element of it, like in other words, if they change the grammar and stuff doesn't rhyme or whatever, then I will change it myself. But you know, the whole book is mine, the wording is mine. So most of the time, like, I'm always editing my stuff. You know, and basically, it's like it's much easier for them. But when it's done with the first stage, it goes to what they call the second stage, which is, you know, it's the order. So, in other words, like if these books are story based and they're poetry, and if I want to have a poem shift around from the front to the back, that's what the second stage is for. So, but once again, like the rough sketch, which is the first cover, it is usually never what the book turns out to be. In one instance alone, Winds of Change, they nailed it right off the bat. But it's never been like that since. So I haven't been lucky that way. And the longest cover to do was 9 years' time. So book 10 cover is going to be way different. It's going to look almost like a romance novel, which, there is no sorrow in it, even though it is part of the Sorrow Separation series. It has to be because the way that you'll see what happens with that relationship. But not all books in the Sorrow series are sad. There are some that are very happy. There are some that are angry. But this book will be different. They all are different. The most different, I would say, would be book 6, because it was told from a different point of view, an evil point of view, Shadow's Reign. So, this whole book process, like I said, once it gets completed and you fax that thing over, or you prove it, you get the business cards, the postcards, you get the bookmarks. You have to approve the press release that goes to all the media, basically the news agencies, if they want to carry it on their TV, or if the newspapers. So that's like the news wire, like it goes all over the place. And then they also do like email marketing too, besides, and they advertise sometimes. One time I actually advertised with Facebook, but there were so many things. And then besides that, then you get what they call the author copy, which is one copy of hardcover, one copy of paperback, unless of course sometimes they'll give you a couple of them. And that's not the finished work, because you have to approve it. And if you do approve it, then that author copy becomes the published work. But it's just, it sometimes it could take 2 months. Sometimes it could take 5 weeks. Sometimes it could take 4 months. So you never know what's going to happen really when doing a book. And sometimes if you decide to do a book and it's the season where everybody's doing books, forget it. It's going to take forever, because they got so many backlogged of books to do. But I got to say, I absolutely love Xebris, because they have done such a great job with the Sorrow Separation series. And the thing I love about Destiny's Calling, in case you didn't know, is that I actually flat out put Matrix Lord in the book. And if you had the hardcover, the bus number would be 212. So it has Matrix Lord 212 on the hardcover. So, like when I designed it, I hate doing this backwards thing. Oh, yeah. All right. I had the book titles like Tomorrow's Song, Winds of Change. This is Destiny's Calling, and then above, where is it? Here, if you can't really see, it's Loss of Ways. Have the series written on the bus, Sorrow Separation series. On the back, we got, I hate the reflection on this thing, but it says 9 years time and Yesterday's Story. I can't even more figure. There you go. And behind this, you can probably see it on the website, but it will say other book titles right there. So, and there's also Sorrow Separation in the. Well, you can't see it. It's in there anyway. But it's really, really fun when you're doing that. But the biggest thrill is when you do book signings for the first time. That is so exciting. But a piece of advice I would have to give is, on your first signing, don't spend a ridiculous amount of money, more than what you could possibly make for the day, because my first signing, I spent like silly, stupid amount. And some people at the signings, they get cookies and they get this and they spend a fortune. You don't want to spend more than what you're going to make for the day. That's just silly. And I learned from my mistake. So, don't forget to, like, if you don't have them, marketing materials, you would probably have to pay like $80 for like a poster that's gonna hang in the window, unless you had them already, which I did. And then I got all silly and I want to put in my books, Sorrow, Separation, Tomorrow Song on a pen, which was like $80 a pen. It was crazy. And I just went buck wild with the first signing because I was so excited. I bought an outfit. I was dressed up, and I mean, you don't even want to know what I spent for the first signing. And believe it or not, the first signing I was shocked because I wanted all my friends to come and buy the books, but it was mostly bought by strangers in the mall that didn't even hear me from Adam. And at the table, I had the newspaper articles, I had the, the bookmarks, the postcards, the press release. I had everything. And I gotta say, out of probably the the first time I sold, I think it was the first book signing. I think was, oh man, I'm gonna say 12. I don't remember, 12 or 13, but I would say 9 of them were from strangers, which was crazy. So, and that was a great impression too, because double digits is basically 10, 11, anything that's above 9. So when you get double digits on a book signing, that is like a clear sign that, okay, like there's a few things that could happen. One, if you're doing it in a big book company, like I was doing Borders, that's like right there and then you get welcomed back for a second book signing. Okay, um, and right away, I got approved for, they carried my second book, and it was like, oh, this is so awesome. So, I had 2 books on the shelf, and it's just, I was doing a book signing with both of the books, and they almost had Winds of Change, but Borders had filed Chapter 11, and then everything happened kaput. But oh my God, what a great feeling! I did 5 book signings, and it was the greatest experience ever. One of the times I got really sick with allergies, and I just had this migraine headache. It was a bad, bad time. I sold books, but I was not. You could see in the pictures that I took, that I'll probably share on Matrix Alert site, but you could tell I was not feeling good at all. So I'm hoping, with Barnes & Noble's going to be carrying a book soon, I hope. I paid a lot of money for this book returnability thing, so we'll see how that goes, which means that if they don't sell them, they could return them. So this is an incentive for Barnes & Noble to carry the books. So, that's the thing, that now it's like I got to prove myself again. So if I do the signing at one store and it gets approved, I can either get a second book signing, or they could have them carried in every single Barnes & Noble, which once that happens, that would be great. So I just encourage everyone that you need to, if you have a manuscript written, don't give away the title, don't show anybody, and I would suggest going with Xebris and self-publishing, because you don't want to run the risk of submitting your work to somebody, them not liking it, and the next thing you know, in a year or two, you'll find your work as a movie and someone stole it. So that was the biggest thing I always worried about, is someone stealing my work, and I didn't want to have to wait. My other friend, it took him 6 years, and nobody ever, kept, saying no, 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 and they wouldn't like his work, and he could never get it published, and he should have just went with self-publishing. So, and even I think 50 Shades of Grey was self-published until that one publisher, the big, big publisher, picks it up, and then boom, you're a millionaire. So that's what happens. With Twilight, I was told that the book was sitting there for years until a newspaper, a guy that did articles for a newspaper, read the book and made a thing in the newspaper that spread word of mouth like crazy. So it could happen, and you know what? It's a long process, but I think it's going to happen with the Sorrow Separation series, and my sci-fi is going to do good as well. So this video was kind of running on, but I did want to talk about it in detail. And thanks very much for subscribing to me, everybody, and liking my channel and commenting. Good or bad, I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.